In today's video, we're on the Pit Boss doing a smoked ham. Hey, this is Ricer from Dead Broke Barbecue, Wisconsin, and welcome back to the channel. But if you're new here, we try to help you enhance and amplify your backyard barbecue fun. In today's video, I'm on the Pit Boss doing a smoked ham. It's a cherry bourbon double smoked ham. Now, if you like ham, it's even better if you reheat it in a smoker. You can do it in any type of smoker, but in today's cook, I'm doing it right on the Pit Boss. This keeps all the mess and all the congestion out of that oven that your wife is doing all those famous sides that we all love. And during the holidays, what's a better idea than staying out of the kitchen? You can grab your brothers and cousins and your dad and go stand outside, have a beer, and smoke up that ham. And when you're making the cherry bourbon glaze, nobody catches you taking an extra poke for yourself. So grab your pail of cherries and your bourbon, Ronnie. We're gonna double smoke a ham. Now I've got a 9-pound cured and smoked ham. You could just go ahead and put it right in the oven, reheat it up to 140 degrees, and you'd have Grandma's special Christmas ham. But we're gonna take this ham and raise it up a few levels. We're gonna put it in the Pit Boss. A lot of people would call it double smoked or twice smoked. I'm just gonna call it better smoked. And to achieve this, we wanna go ahead and put a light coating of olive oil, and we're gonna add some of our SuckleBusters Hog Waller pork and rib rub on it. And with these ingredients, we're gonna go ahead and make ourselves a cherry bourbon glaze. Once this ham hits 130 internal temperature, we'll start coating it up with some sweet bourbon deliciousness. Now I went ahead and put a light coat of olive oil just so our rub will stick. We'll just go ahead, layer on the flavor, and we don't have to get aggressive, but anytime I put something in a smoker, it's gotta have some rub on it, right? All right, our ham is all rubbed up. I'll meet you out by the Pit Boss. All right, we're gonna go ahead and turn on the Pit Boss, but just set it at smoke. Okay, so all the white smoke is burnt off now. Let's go ahead and turn it up to 300 degrees. We'll close up our lid and give it about 10 minutes for this pit to warm up a bit. All right, the pit is up to 300 degrees. We're gonna get some smoke on this ham now. Open up the Pit Boss and we're gonna put this ham right on the left-hand side because this is our cooler side of this pit. And also, we'll stick our probe through. And this bone is gonna run this way. It's gonna run towards the back. The bone's here and it goes towards the back. So we'll put this probe right in this meaty area right here. Close up the lid and set a timer for 1 hour. Then we're gonna come back out and just check our internal temperatures, because once this ham gets 130 degrees, we're gonna start putting on our cherry bourbon glaze. So now let's go inside and start putting that glaze together. All right, so I'm gonna use a medium saucepan and I have 1 cup of water in there. We're gonna go ahead and set our temperature to medium low. That's 4.0 for me. And then we're gonna add 2/3 of a cup of bourbon, and I'm using Maker's Mark today. 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar, 1/2 a cup of molasses, tablespoon of thyme, freshly chopped, a heaping 1/2 teaspoon of allspice, a jar of cherry preserve. Sorry, this is the worst angle of a camera that I can do. And then we're just gonna start stirring it. Can smell that whiskey. We're gonna wanna bring this up to a simmer. So I got this recipe from my buddy Cody, and we're gonna give it a whirl. Now you can also save this concoction and put it on some ribs if you want to. And once it starts to simmer, it's gonna start to reduce. You don't want it runny, but you don't want it really thick pasty either. And obviously you can tell I got plenty of Maker's Mark left, so I can have a stiff bourbon later when I'm finished up with this cook. Now this cherry bourbon glaze has been simmering for about 30 minutes. It's still not quite thick enough yet. Seeing that I'm cooking this at such a low temperature, this glaze is gonna take a while to get reduced and get to the consistency that we want. It'll be at the thickness that I want once it's time to start glazing that ham. Okay, I'm an hour and a half in, let's check it out. Now I did rotate it at about an hour in and I turned the temperature down to 250 degrees. I don't have a 275 degree setting, and 300 was getting it too dark too fast. And once it hits 130, we're gonna go ahead and start glazing it up, but I do like how it's separating.
that's perfect. That glaze is just gonna penetrate right in. We'll set a timer for about a half an hour and come back out and check it. Okay, so my probe is reading at about 130 degrees right now. We're 2 hours into this cook, and I'm gonna take this cookie sheet wrapped with aluminum foil and place that ham on top of this. That way when I'm glazing it, I don't get a bunch of mess inside my pit and right on that heat deflector. Just more work to clean up afterwards. Place this right in here. Grab our ham, just get this on right here. Now let's go ahead and start putting on our glaze. And a little trick that I learned a long time ago is when you can tell that the sauce is right, take a spoon. If it looks like this, that's a good thickness for a ham right there. So you just dip it in, it's kind of sticking to the outside of that spoon. You're doing pretty good. Now we'll just start coating it up. Now this takes time, obviously. This isn't the easiest part. I just kind of get it on top, pour it right up there, and let it run down.
Now we're gonna repeat the glazing process every 10 minutes until this ham reaches 140 degrees internal. So you're just gonna keep on setting a timer for 10 minutes until this is done.
Okay, another 10-minute timer went off. This should be my last coat. This will be number 4. We'll go ahead, dial this baby up. Open up the lid. We'll swing it around a little bit. She's looking really pretty though, wow. Get her covered again. And this should take us right to our closing of 140 degrees internal. Okay, so our 10-minute timer went off. We're gonna go ahead and pull this out. Shut off the pit boss. Pull out our probe. Show you what we got here. There it is. Kind of hard to see in here. But we're gonna put it in the house, let it rest for about 10 minutes, and we'll slice into it.
Our Cherry Bourbon Glazed smoked ham has rested for 10 minutes. Let's carve out a piece. Now, the bone is gonna run from here to here, so we'll just cut right along it. Best that we can. Down. Separate that out, and I am going to go ahead, cut a few slices off. Do a manageable bite and try it out. Now that sauce is pretty good. It's sweet, but with the salt and the ham, it's a good combo. Not everything has to be fiery hot. I'm just gonna cut this top piece off. I want this chunk right here. And on this outside, I can really taste the Hog Waller. For a Christmas ham, you can't really get much better. This is nice and juicy. I think you can see on my cutting board. It's drooling. I'm drooling from the flavor. Wow. Now, if you haven't decided what you're gonna cook, or you're thinking about something extra for Christmas, get one of these hams and do this recipe. It's so simple. You don't really even have to pay attention. And thanks, Cody, for the recipe on the Cherry Bourbon Glaze. It's fantastic. I really like it. Grandma's gonna be pissed that she's been cooking that ham for 40 years in the oven. Trust me. And one great thing about cooking the ham in the pit boss, it gives your wife more room in the oven to make more sides. You know, there's nothing worse than dealing with Aunt Tootie when she comes over and you didn't cook some baked squash. Because we're never gonna not have baked corn or green bean casserole. Squash, that's the last thing I want. We're gonna X that one off. But now you can cook it and she'll be happy and she won't complain the whole time. Right? I can have one more of these. Jesus. Now let's read a comment from last week's video. Ash Kickin BBQ says, great video. That 1836 beef rub is amazing on burgers. Ash Kickin BBQ, I can't agree with you more. That 1836 rub is awesome on all beef. SuckleBusters has got it going on, and we've become huge fans of all of their rubs that we've tried so far. Now, Ash Kickin BBQ doesn't do a lot of videos, but he's got one about competition ribs that everybody should go over and check out. I'll put a link to his channel in the description below. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it, bud. Now I want to send out my warm wishes that everybody has a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a grateful Kwanzaa. We appreciate every single one of you stopping by and watching and subscribing and helping out our channel. And during this holiday season, I really want all of you to have a safe and glorious, wonderful time with your friends and family. And to all of you soldiers that are overseas, be safe, and God bless America. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, become a subscriber. Thumbs down if you're only getting coal for Christmas this year because you are a naughty person. Boo. Then you can give it a thumbs down. Now, I appreciate every single one of you watching and staying till the end because you know I typically always have some good bloopers. And we'll see you in the next video.
Close the lid and bring that temp. And one great thing about cooking the ham in the, Jesus, or green bean casserole.
So much easier just to reheat it in a pit. Well, because you don't want to meese?